Welcome back to Plus One channel. After completing the poem Rise, you know the importance of protecting the environment around us, right? Again, our life will be in danger if we surrender ourselves, our life to different kind of addictions. Now, watch one video. Kind of addiction. And to know more about its after effect, please watch another video with your textbook.
Dangers of drug abuse by Dr. Hardin B. Jones. Drugs have been discovered to prevent and cure physical diseases and reverse the disturbances that occur in some mental illness. Excitement over what drugs can do has led people to believe that any ailment, infective or psychic, can be relieved by taking a pill. At the first sign of nervousness, they try pep pills. Medical journals now advertise tranquilizers, amphetamines, and other mood swing altering drugs. Doctors prescribe them, and the public expects miracles from them. In such an atmosphere, it is not surprising that drug abuse has spread. Underline it. When people become dependent on drugs to solve their problems, they lose the capacity to deal with life situation through perseverance, self-discipline, and mental effort. It is now often considered naive to expend energy on solving a problem when there is an easy way out. It is a simple step from look what drugs do for me when I feel depressed to imagine what drug can do for me when I feel good already. A distinction must be made, however, between medicines and sensual drugs. Underline it, it's very important. Difference between medicine and sensual drugs. We must not disdain the real and important advances science has made. The history of the medical use of drugs goes back 23 centuries to Hippocrates, the Greek physician who is regarded as the father of medicine. He was the first to recognize that a remedy must take into account not only the symptoms of the disease but also the constitution and habits of the patient. His principles have come down to us as a dictum that the medicine must specifically suit the disease and the patient. That is, when there is a disorder, only a drug that specifically mitigates that disorder should be used. The drug should also have restorative effects or it will unbalance healthy function of the brain and the body. Underline it. The correlative of this principle is that a healthy person cannot benefit from taking a drug. This too comes from Hippocrates, who said a person's in good health quickly lose their strength by taking purgative medicine. The distinction between medicine and sensual drugs is simple. Sensual drugs are those that the body has no need for. Underline it, sensual drugs, but that give the user a strong sense of pleasure. Sensual drugs activate the brain's pleasure centers. We do not know precisely how they do this, whether they stimulate the pleasure centers directly or activate them through chemical mimicry. In this text, I will refer to both possibilities as stimulation. The brain governs sensations, moods, thoughts, and action not by a magical process, but by an incredibly complex series of chemically regulated controls. These are easily upset by sensational drugs. This disturbance is apparent in the effect of sensual drugs on the mechanism that control pleasure and satisfaction. A drug user's craving for the drug continues, but he feels less and less satisfaction. His brain's pleasure reflexes seem to be weakened by artificial stimulation. In severe addiction, the pleasure mechanism fails to respond to drug stimulation. The drug then imparts only relative relief from misery and suspends the illness of withdrawal. Information from the senses still reaches the brain, but the brain is unable to evaluate the information and interpret it as pleasurable. In contrast, naturally attained pleasures enlarge the sense of satisfaction and can be repeated indefinitely. Ultimately, the sensory deprivation of the drug addict manifests itself in a general feeling of physical discomfort and in personality changes. The addict feels depressed and fails to respond either to his environment or to other people. His mental disturbance can be quite similar to paranoia. He cannot discern the source of his problem and looks for the cause in everything but himself. Anything external is suspect. He draws further and further into himself. The addict often feels people are looking at him strangely. One told me he wasn't sure when people smiled at him that they were not really laughing. The addict can even lose his sense of being alive. He feels dead inside. One rehabilitated heroin addict described his sensory deprivation to me. Looking out of the window, he said, "The sun is shining, the flowers are in bloom. I know these are the signs of good day, but pressing his chest, I don't feel it in here." I have seen addicts habitually press their fingers deep into their arms or legs as if to reassure themselves of their own reality. This craving for lost sensations explains in part the addict's need to continue to seek drug-induced sensation. If drugs offered a safe form of pleasure, there might be a few objections to using them. However, the claims that they are safe must be recognized as fake in the face of the known consequences of continued drug use. Real dangers exist, although the drug user often assumes they do not, because the harmful side effects are not immediately apparent. Possible results range from incidental, delirious effect to death from overdose. The dangers that lie between the extremes are the degeneration of health and the depletion of brain function. Drugs, after all, act directly on the brain and cause mental mechanism to respond abnormally. The risks are great for the persistent user. In particular, there is a danger that he will do himself a great deal of harm before the warning symptoms occur. Drug-related health disorders are many and varied. Dirty needles and solutions used for injecting drugs can cause abscesses in the arms and veins, liver disease, mineral disease, and infection of the kidneys and brain. Sniffing cocaine and amphetamines can damage the tissue of the nose, and marijuana and tobacco smoking can cause lung diseases. Heavy users of alcohol, volatile solvents, amphetamines, or marijuana may find that their livers are permanently damaged. Babies of women addicted to opiates are likely to be born addicted and to suffer from withdrawal symptoms. Underline it. Cocaine and amphetamines can cause hair to fall out. Recent research has indicated that marijuana can damage cells. A drug user's way of life makes him more susceptible to pneumonia, tuberculosis, malnutrition, and weight loss. Finally, an overdose of any of the essential drugs can lead to respiratory or cardiac failure and finally death. Essential drugs affect the chemistry of the brain cells. Cell function is carried out by thousands of enzymes acting within each cell, depending on how the cell chemistry adds up. The cell either reinforces or shifts the dominance of cell pathways and hookups. Each exposure of the cells to psychoactive drugs somehow alters their chemistry. Toxic chemicals can easily upset the delicate chemical balance of brain's intricate system of communication. Underline it. They may also damage cell tissues. Toxic effects may be transitory or permanent depending on the cell damage. This article focuses on effects of drugs on the brain. Underline it. This is not to minimize their effects on other parts of the body, or these can be sometimes be more debilitating. Damage to the brain, however, is more subtle, most often unrecognized, and least understood consequence of drug abuse.
Welcome back. Now, be familiar with few difficult words. The first one, amphetamine. The second one, marijuana. Third one, psychic. The fourth one, delirious. Fifth one, dictum. Activity guide. Take your textbook, page number 125. Learn the format of letter writing. Again, take page number 126. Read and understand language expression. Again, the last activity, take page number 129. It's very important activity, how to prepare a seminar paper. So see you all on next class, and please share this video to whom you think are in need of it. Thank you.